Dun dun dun! Casual Dabs here with a Civ 7 update. We got update 1.2.0, and oh, is it a beauty! I am loving this update. Go look at the 7 minute or so YouTube video from the devs. Really good. So, we're going to go through here and highlight some things that are of particular interest. So, don't expect a super long video, but just some things you can look forward to, and maybe you'll like as much as I do. As I am a PC player and I play mostly with PC players, I'm going to kind of skip over some of the stuff about Switch. Don't worry, Switch or Switch 2 users, you got covered. They're gonna handle you no problemo. As far as multiplayer teams, that is now going to work better, especially with the new food and growth scale. But you still have to do your own text. You're not going to share text anymore like you used to. Still your own deal. So the first thing that I'm super excited about is updates to the resources. It says here that they have new ones: mango, clay, flax, rubies, rice, limestone, tin, llamas, hardwood, and wild game. And they get them all from antiquity or exploration age. And then you have rice, limestone, tin, llamas, and hardwood that are going to be in the modern age. And they have their own effects. So I can't wait to jump in. I'm updating it right now. I'm about to jump in to figure out what these updates are. I'm just going to pull up a random game and see if we can't see something for you guys. So once we get through that, I'll tag that on at the end. So don't go anywhere. Let's see what the resources are like. Not to mention that, but the resource generation is going to be better. They're bringing back what they had for Civ 6, which is locking it to continent or hemisphere, so that it encourages you to grow or war or trade to get all the resources you need. They've also changed how the treasure resources work. And so they're not just treasure fleet resources, that then, they would change to be factory resources in the modern age, but they're going to give you passive bonuses to your empire. And they're more clearly divided between homeland and distant lands. And then the resources list for treasure resources has expanded to horses, furs, and rubies, as it should. And then they've done a little bit of balances to the resources. Dyes give more happiness. Fish is now a bonus resource in the modern. They don't say it here, but they mean in a modern age. And tin replaces it as the factory resource in the modern age for growth rate. And they kind of change it so that it feels better than just blowing out. Because can't remember who I was watching, another YouTuber, and they had like 8 cities with 8 or more fish in it, and all of them, and it was just insane. It didn't matter what their growth cap and stuff was. It was nuts. So that's going to be helpful. And then they talk in here about how it opens it up for better play for multiplayer and having more spots to spawn in the antiquity age for that multiplayer, since now, and I believe it'll come to it later, they talk about it being, is it here? No, I'm pretty sure it's down below. We'll get to it. But they talk about how, which makes sense, your homeland is somebody else's distant land. And so there's going to be resources spawning on either one. Be interested to see how they take care of it, because if you have horses, are you going to just get a treasure fleet that you can immediately spawn in and then get the points for, or is it going to be coded properly where it's only horses for the other continent, but that continent you won't have horses on? Maybe you have furs there but not furs on your continent. So anyways, it's going to be interesting. It's going to open up more for multiplayer, so it helps out, and I'm really excited. All of the resource stuff I'm really excited about, because it was kind of getting like, no matter what you want to do, it's just like, okay, well, this is how I play, and any other way of playing, it was kind of, unless you were doing some kind of RP or literally just testing, at least for me, it didn't seem a whole lot of fun. So I'm glad for some of these changes. One more turn. Really like this. Can now just play indefinitely. I just finished up a series on Amina when she was winning a military victory, and now I can go in there and I can finish out with my huge military, huge economy, and just absolutely obliterate everybody off the map that was giving me problems from turn 1. That's going to be really nice. And you can't win or lose. Like, you can't change, right? Once you've won or you've lost, like, that's the verdict for the game, but you can keep playing to finish out your legacy pass. This will be really nice because I know a lot of times, you know, I'm got an economic victory well underway, and I'm just like, do I want to sit here and do 60 turns to get science done, or do I just want to win, right? So what it allows you to do is you can just go ahead and win however you want to win, and then you just keep playing to get those legacy pass, because each of the leaders, they have XP for completing the legacy path in each age, and then there's XP for completing it multiple times each age. And so this just kind of cuts down on the replay for the sake of just leveling up. Like, if you're close, if you're like 1 or 2 relics away, or you're a few turns away for your space launch, or 1 or 2 cities away for the military victory, whatever it may be, like, just go ahead and do that for a few turns, and then you'll max out your people. You'll get more mementos faster without having to play through a whole game and everything like that. So that's really helpful. Plus, it's just gonna be fun to be able to like do some interesting things of that you see on Reddit and other places of like, look at this empire, and it's just like a monster because you can just keep playing. Now, the second big thing to me, biggest thing to a lot of people, is the food and growth rebalance. I do like this little thing they have going here. So they changed it from a cubic formula to a quadratic formula. And for those who don't know, let's see if I can make this thick enough. So you have, that is not great at all. I need something thicker. That's, keep comments to yourself. There we go. So let's just say this is your X and your Y axes. So cubic formula, you know, X cubed, it tends to go up real quick. So that's X cubed. Whereas quadratic, it goes up and it will eventually make that curve. But quadratic is always AX squared plus BX, I ran out of room because I don't know why this is not open, BX plus C. So this is quadratic, this is cubic, okay? So you will eventually hit those curves. It's just going to take longer, and it's going to feel better. And so that's what they mean for those who don't know the difference between the two. Hopefully that was helpful. Now that means people, they even mentioned here like Pachacuti or Moria or any of these civs and leaders that really love food is going to be even better. See my recently released tier list on the civs from Antiquity to Modern Age. I ranked that knowing this was coming out with the food focus in mind. So if you're a beginner or you're just trying to figure some things out, you know, increase your difficulty, whatever it may be, go check out that video. It will help you a lot, and it will show you the food already baked into the rankings. Hopefully the AI will get harder, because right now, consistently on Immortal, I'm hitting all 12 legacy points in Antiquity and Exploration Age without a problem, and just depends on how fast I want to win Modern Age. And the vast majority of time on Deity, I'm hitting 12 or close to 12 victory point or legacy pass, my bad, in that Antiquity Age. So hopefully this does make it a little more difficult. I mean, you could always make it difficult like my Mina run by just fighting almost non-stop, but you know, to each their own. But here's a little look at the multiplayer teams that they've set up, so you can see how it's going to work, and everything's going to be nice and juicy for you multiplayer lovers. I may try to do some multiplayer. I'm going to find some people that want to play Civ 7. This is where they're talking about they don't share tech or civic progress anymore, so you have a unique, still feel unique and playable. I know in Civ 5 and Civ 6, if you're playing on teams, you had certain leaders that would kind of cover for other leaders, and it just made it not the best. So now that gets into the nuts and bolts, and they talk about with the resources. Of course, there's narrative events for each resource. They are randomized, and let's see, where was it? Where are they talking about it? They have some information in here about the coastal settlements, you know, with gold, silver, cocoa, spice, sugar, and tea, and then some of them being divided among major land masses versus some are about islands. So kind of like half and half for each hemisphere. So go and find them. They have, yeah, so different perspective like I talked about. And so here's some balance changes. Dyes now give 4 happiness instead of 3. That's really good because sometimes with dyes I'm like, sheep gives you 2 happiness and 2 production. Why would I want dyes? Like, let me just get that production and eventually I'll get the happiness fixed. Fish, as I already mentioned, it won't be a factory resource. It'll be a bonus resource. Plus 6 food in settlements with a port. So you have to have a port for fish. Makes sense. Plus 3 food in any other settlement. That's real nice. And then 10 will boost the growth rate, but not in numbers or scale that like the fish, because that was getting out of control. They did some updates to the map generation, which is lovely. AI is finally going to play better on Archipelago map. I've not played and done a recording on Archipelago map because whenever I've tried before, it was just comically easy. You get somebody like Aksum that has an ancient era naval unit as your special unit, and you go around and you just terrorize everybody, cities from the sea, and like you can almost wipe everybody out before the Antiquity Age ends if that's all you focus on, because they're not going to stop you. And so I'm glad for that. Some of the other changes are going to be good, so hopefully they will be more difficult to play against. Diplomacy, I have been thinking after they nerfed Maya, they were probably going to nerf diplomacy. So here it is. You are getting a big nerf if you're caught stealing, and they've increased the time it takes to steal significantly. And then this one I'm super happy about. Counter spy can now be used against more than one player simultaneously, because you know most of the endeavors and sanctions and whatever you can only do one at a time. That's what makes Ben Franklin powerful, because he can do 2 of those. But it was dumb that you couldn't counter spy against more than one person like that. It was just frustrating. So now I'm glad for that. And then also counter spying, it adds a 30% failure chance, which I think ups it to somewhere around 50% or so. So you're gonna really be feeling the pain. If you haven't seen, I think Ursa Ryan did one recently, a video about just some mega stealing for his one city challenge. It's the only way he was able to complete it, really. This is gonna make it even harder, because if you get caught, then you know now you're down the drain. Now you have to find somebody. I think like Harriet Tubman has a better chance of not getting caught, or something like that, to help out there. So that's really good, because that diplomacy, especially on deity, this right here is what will make deity harder. Because I know myself, I'm stealing 4 or 5 techs, 4 or 5 civics per age. And so if that's going to be 1/3 more expensive and cost me more if I get caught, you know, instead of 5 techs, I'm probably only stealing 3 techs, 3 civics. That's a huge difference. That alone will make deity harder to do. I'm glad they changed some of the influence penalties. That was good. Thank goodness that the natural disasters have been changed to be more appropriate, because I think it was on my Ben Franklin game, I was just getting hit with winter storm after flood, and I was just like, are you kidding me? I spent 10 gold 10 turns in a row, it seemed like, to fix stuff like this one square or this one hex, because of how bad it was. So that's good. I really like that. I'm glad that they added bridges to towns. Towns, just unless you had like Augustus or you're running certain strategies, it just felt bad to have towns for longer than necessary, unless they're like connector towns or like very niche uses. It's like, just save the gold, upgrade them to a city, throw some production resources in there, and just get it all built out. You can get it built out in a few turns. It's really great. So now this feels a little bit better about, whoops. What happened? Oh, I pressed the space bar. What a casual dad. Let's find our place again. Here we go. So now it feels better with that. The bridges, you know, you get 5-6 gold per turn, costs a couple hundred gold. You put in there long enough, it will pays for itself. Super nice. Got some changes to how towns are going to be connected based on coastal and everything. They did increase the cost of upgrading towns, so if anything, this right here makes it more important to get an economic golden age and have as many cities as possible going into exploration age. Because what that does, in case you haven't done it yet, the golden age for legacy path economic means you get to keep all your towns as cities. Like, you know, they revert back except for your capital. Well, now with you pick that golden age legacy path, you will always have the same number of cities, and you avoid this 100 gold per age. So that's 200 gold increase in exploration age. After it's already been increased in the antiquity age to get up there, and then modern age again, you know, it's 300 gold now. So do whatever you can to have automatic upgrades. Avoid this extra 200 gold. So because think about it, 5 cities at 200 gold, that's 1,000 gold just extra exploration age. That's big difference between how you're currently starting the age and how it's going to happen. There's not really much else that's super useful. I mean, just like some nice quality of life updates. Yeah. And so, food and growth, of course, we already talked about that. Independent powers. This one's nice. This one kind of frustrated me. Independent powers will no longer be removed after losing all their units. The reason it's frustrating to me is that there's been times where I see somebody attacking a independent power I'm trying to soothe. I get my units over there and I surround the city center so that it cannot be attacked and then destroyed, and now of course are gone. But because they don't have any units, they eventually despawn, and so now there's all my Diplo going to waste. So that's a little frustrating, but I'm glad they fixed that. Just some more quality of life things. I really like the upgrade all button for commander with units that's packed in. It's just extra clicks are just doing away with, so that's really nice. Cavalry, I'm glad they have increased the cost for production and maintenance, because cavalry is stupid strong, especially if your civ already has a really nice cavalry unit. Looking at you, Southeast Asian civs, it's very frustrating, or was, to play against some of those. More quality of life improvements. They fixed some problems with some different of the ones of the civs. And UI, finally, you can just click and it queues your techs and civics. It was really nice. Repair all option for when things get damaged for whatever reason. Super nice. I was just running into this playing Catherine the Great. It's going to be out soon. Great person. It was hard to find where they need to go. So this is going to be really nice. Alignment, spacing, Civilopedia, all this other stuff is really good. Quality of life, they show wonders that have already been built. There's already a mod that I think does better than what they've done in the game, but still it's nice that they're making things better for everybody. And so, yeah, just more quality of life. Really like it all. This one I'm super happy about because I hated it all the time. It's town specialization available notifications, because like every time your town grew, it seemed like, which if it's got a lot of food, is growing pretty quick. It's like, hey, specialize your town, specialize your town. I'm like, I have 6 of these. I don't want to click no 6 times every few turns. So now that's going to happen less often, and that's great. This one I really like because this happens to me quite a bit, is that whenever you're about to join an alliance, it'll tell you who you'll go to war with. So that will be nice if you're like, I don't know if I want to join that alliance because I really don't want to go to war with that person. It just kind of skips the whole decrease, accidentally go to war, or all those problems that come up. More narrative events have been fixed. They've added some. They've done really good quality of improvements there. And so that is it. A nice little quick rundown of your update 1.2.0 for Civilization 7. I hope you guys are excited as I am. I'm about to jump in and check out some of these resources as quick as possible to see what they are like. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you those resources. Just give me a half a second. Here we have a wild game, 2 food in cities and 4 food in towns. That's pretty nice. In true fashion, there's some conflict with mod I have, so we're just gonna see if we can't roll a few and to show off the new ones real quick. And here we have mangoes in the tropical, of course. It is 2 food and 2 culture. Not sure we had that before. That combination of food and culture, so that's pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot. See what else we can find. All right, this is a good one. We have several here. Rubies give you +4 gold. Clay +1 production and warehouse building. That is super useful. Also, that'll make granaries and things more useful now. And then flax +2 science and +2 culture. That is huge. I'm not going to keep rolling for all of them. I just want to show off some of the new resources so you guys can see that. So get out there, play. The new update is fantastic. The last update was the last update, if I can speak correctly, was really good. This one just even better. So I think they seem to be doing a good job at quickly amending for some of their errors on launch. And I hope more of you guys come back and play. It's just so much fun. So we're going to see how our fresh new series we started with Catherine the Great goes. We may restart it and play a couple more episodes after the patch to see if we need to switch that up, because it would be nice to have these new ones, these new resources out already in the next video. It's only the first video, so it wouldn't be too hard to just start over. But anyways, appreciate you guys. Make sure you leave a like or comment. Let me know what you think about this patch and a sub, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.